Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to CraftStash Live, or Live with Lou. We've got a brand new launch today, which is the most exciting one of the year so far for me personally, because it's my own brand. It's the Textures brand of products, and it's Paris Romance. Now, as always, we have got giveaways. Now, we're giving away well over £150 worth of product today, and that's going out to 3 of you in total. So 2 of you who are commenting on this live, and that doesn't matter whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on YouTube, but 2 of you are going to be chosen at the end to win a bundle of the new Paris Romance collection products, and then 1 of you are going to be able to enter to get an even bigger prize over on the CraftStash blog. Okay, so we've bundled together some items for that. All you need to do to enter is to comment. That's it. Just say hello. That's more than enough. I'll read out some comments in just a moment, say hello to some of you. But as soon as you've commented, that's it. You're in the hat. And if you're commenting more, obviously, there's going to be more chance of your name being picked at random. But just bear in mind, if you're commenting every few seconds, the social media platforms don't like that. So you can actually be kicked off for that. So just be careful of commenting too much. But we want to see what you think of the new collection. I love that you chat to me, try and ask me questions. Now, obviously, I'm on my own today because I'll be doing the demonstration, so I'll try and keep an eye on all the comments. In fact, I'm going to do that first of all. I'm going to say hello to a few people. Let's start first of all. Sue Pollock, get fantastic or fabulous prize. Hello to you. To Lisa, is it Petrie? I'm not sure quite if I'm saying your name right. I'm terrible with names, we all know that. She's really excited for this. Hello to Sam, Mixed Up Craft. Hello to you, thank you for watching. Let me see, let's go back. I saw we've got so many, it's going really quickly. Nikki Shaw, love your designs, and she has most of them as well. Well, hopefully you will love this one just as much. Hello to June Woodhouse, cold but sunny day in Norfolk. Yeah, I'm in Suffolk, just below you. Exactly the same here. Love the sunshine, not ideal for doing videos and lives and things. So I've got the blinds closed, unfortunately. Hello to Benita, hello to Lynn, Kate Baker, Karina, Marie, Bland, lots of you I see watching time and time again. Thank you for joining us. I'll just pop over to YouTube. I don't want to leave anyone out. Wow, okay, just wait for those to scroll through. Hello to, we've got Abster Crafts, Colour Play. Obviously, a lot of these are handles. You know who you are. Kathleen Baker, Debbie Plowman, Laura Matthews, Natalie Washbrook. They're all saying hello and that they're looking forward to the live. Now, I'll try and keep an eye on those, like I say. First thing we need to do is run through the offers, and then we'll look at the product because it's really exciting. So we have got the Paris Romance collection. It's all very French, very chic, perfect for, obviously Valentine's is coming up this weekend. That's a little bit short, but it will come round again year after year. But Mother's Day is going to be absolutely ideal for birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, anything like that. And it's not necessarily just feminine either, which you'll see in a little while. Now, the items from Paris Romance actually start at just $5.99 because we've got some beautiful ephemera in here. This pack is not just small pieces of ephemera either. You've even got A6 size postcards in there too. So that's only $5.99. Prices are onwards or upwards of that. This ephemera pack that I was talking about is actually your free gift when you're spending just £20 on any of the other items, okay? And I'll go through those in just a moment. We've got lots of other deals and offers, but they are just a couple. Come down to my desk and see what I'm really excited about. So if you've not seen it already, I know I've been posting lots of sneaky peeks on social media over the last week or so. We have, like I say, this very sort of French floral perfume feel to everything, but you can totally go masculine with this as well. You can go teenage girl, you could go baby. When you start to see all the different products, you'll see why. Now, for me, one of my favourite items of this whole collection is the Paris Romance floral layering die set. You can already see beside me some of those florals, so I'm going to just show you, first of all, let's show you the dies actually on the board. Here we go. So these are the dies all spaced out onto magnetic sheets here. I think that's all of them. So these are all of the ones to make one flower. These are the ones to make another flower, just this line here. And then you've got all the foliage as well. Now, on CraftStash, I believe they're there. If not, they should soon be. There's a download. This will tell you how to put the flowers together. So don't worry about being left on your own. But I mean, as you can see, it's actually fairly easy once you separate them into the 2 flower types. because as you can see, you've got this shape, you've got the exact same shape again, but that's the outer edge. So that's actually creating that lighter colour highlight around the edge. Show you these examples in a moment as well. And then you've got the same with the, oh, that one's missing. Nah, where have you gone? Fallen off somewhere. But you've got the same with this shape as well. I'm going to need that, to be honest. I'm going to need that. I bet it's down on the floor somewhere. I'll find it in a little while. But you can see the idea. You'll have another one of these shapes as a solid. I wonder if it's in the packet somewhere. It's not in there. I'm going to sneakily look around for that whilst I'm crafting and talking. I can multitask, by the way. So this is what it looks like when you start piecing together your flowers. So these pieces here create this sort of flower, and I haven't put any stamen or anything in the middle there because you can use whatever you like, and again I'll show you in the cards in a moment. Then we've got another type of flower here, so this one's got more of a central looking down on it feel. This one's kind of off to the side slightly, and then you've got all of the leaf parts that all fit together as well. So you've got so many different ways of putting these pieces together. Do you know what? I found the die. I knew I would. See, multitasking. So that is one of the items. Now, in a bundle with these florals, and you can buy it individually, is the embossing folder. Now, this is the quintessential quilting embossing folder. When these are named, I don't think about having to say them on a live. The quintessential quilting. Now, let's show you those together so you can see the quilt effect in the background. This is on parchment or vellum, and you've got that floral there. We've got it here just simply white on white, and there's one of those florals again, a sneak peek to what's coming up. With this, you notice, although it's an A5 embossing folder, it's quite easy to emboss a larger area because it's a repeating pattern. You can simply lay your embossing folder back over some of the embossing and run it through your machine again. I did say I'd go through some of these with the flowers too. You can see that embossing folder again, just white on white in the background there, and in this one as well with those florals over the top. They're large florals. I love big flowers. That's what really does it for me, is the size of the Textures products, because they're going to be a focal point. And talking about a focal point, how stunning do they look? They're just striking, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful on the black as well. They really stand out. And there we've got that quilted embossing folder in the background. And actually, if I hold that at certain positions, let's see, there we go. You can see I've actually added embossing powder, gold embossing powder, to the stitching effect through that. So that's a beautiful embossing folder to have. I have got a board where I've done a few different techniques for you here. So these two are with the deboss area. So that means the stitching effect is going down into the cardstock on vellum, and then adding some white embossing powder into the stitching. These two are with it raised. So this one, as you've seen with the white and white, on its own, it's a beautiful subtle background effect. But then you can start using your inks and your other mediums to pick out that stitching when it's raised up, when you use the other side, and start lifting and highlighting the stitches as well. So, like I say, each of these items are available individually, but they're also available as a bundle. Now, if I just flip to this for you, you can see that the bundles, and I'm going to talk you through a couple of those, are from only $24.99 for both parts. So when you look at the price of them individually, you'll see you're actually getting the better deal by going for the bundles. Now, the next item is the perfume bottles. These are dimensional perfume and aftershave bottles die set. Now, this is, hopefully, there's a lot of metal in here, an awful lot. I haven't actually got them all out on a magnetic sheet because there's so many of them. I'd need quite a few sheets. But what you're getting here is large perfume bottles, stroke aftershave bottles, and you can decorate either of the shapes to be perfume or aftershave. Again, I've got a board here for you so you can really see the size of them. If you look against my hand, how big they are. They're gorgeous. Now, when I say dimensional, they've got a slight bit of dimension to them. Not so much that you need to then put them into a box if you're putting them on a card, but just enough so that it raises it up and it gives it that shape. You can see my reflection in that one. So I've done this top one as aftershave. That's actually an embossed aftershave label. And then we've got a very chic perfume bottle cut from acetate there. Again, raised up ever so slightly. If I press that, you can see you've got that little bit of dimension. Now with each of these, you also get the liquid that will fit behind the bottle for each shape. That just means that you can put in a colour, whether you're using vellum or whether you're using acetate or something else maybe that's slightly see-through. So I've used a glitter card in there for that perfume bottle. So you can see you can go masculine or feminine with each of these. For this one, I've used the vellum and I've put a nice sort of coral colour perfume in there, teamed with some of the flowers, those large blooms, again in the similar colours. We've got the aftershave cut from, it's just been a bit squashed in transit there. We've got this, can you see the aftershave embossed into the bottle? Really cool. So this is just like a brushed gold mirror card there. And again, you've got, if I just tilt that up, you can see you've got that dimension on the bottle. Perfect for your gentleman there. A lovely Lou Withers has created some beautiful examples as well with these. Really, really pretty. I love the effects she's used, all sorts of what I can assume is gilding waxes and such in there. And I can see she's got scraps of card where she's used the embossing folder as well in the background. And what about, now I can't shake this because you won't actually see, but what about making a shaker card with, instead of perfume, having your shaker elements inside the bottle? And that's what I've done here. So I've used the outline dies, and you do get outline dies for both of these. So you can just see on the packet there, we've got an outline for each, the right size for you to use for shakers, or if you want to cut out into your card and have the bottle peeking through as you close it, whatever it may be. So there's lots of different ideas that you can do with your perfume bottles or aftershave bottles, and I'm sure you can think of other ways of using those as well. Now this teams up with our labels. These are our layering labels A5 stamp set. This again is really good fun because this works with the layering stamp set, which you'll see in a moment, and with the dies. Now they are teamed as a bundle. Again, you're looking at $24.99 for the two of them. So you're going to be able to then stamp your labels, personalised labels, onto your perfume bottles, really making your cards extra special. So it's things like, so you've got number today, you've got all the numbers, you've got frames, you've got florals that are shaped to go into the frames, as well as the Eiffel Tower, some flourishes, another beautiful frame down here. And then you've got, so you've got two fonts. You've got a beautiful script font that says things like daughter, sister, special mum, celebrate, it's your day, perfume. Then you've got a bolder font, beautiful just for you, j'adore, birthday classic, husband, dad and son. So like I say, we are looking at both male and female birthdays and occasions here. Now just to show you a few items where I've used those, you can see I've put number 1 daughter on this. I'll go to this stamp set in a minute. For example, you can do the age. I mean, when you've got numbers, you can do absolutely any age. It doesn't have to be a special one. So that's 78, celebrate. That actually rhymes, which I like. So it kind of rolls off the tongue there. And there we've just got number 5 and perfume. Do you know what? For little girls as well, my daughter absolutely loves perfume and smellies. I'll come to this in a minute because it's one of the next stamp sets. I'm just going to check the comments because I closed my phone down. Thank you all so much for joining me. I can't wait to get showing you some of these items. Hello to everyone on YouTube and hello to everyone on Facebook as well. Let's just let my phone catch up. Frosty in Scotland, Mariana says. Tanya says she watches but she doesn't always comment. You always need to comment, Tanya, because as soon as you comment you're in with a chance of winning some of these. Now just to go through the last few items, we have got a background stamp set. This is the Carte Postal and Vintage Label A5 stamp set. Now these I designed, they took so long, especially to build this up. So we've got music notes in the background, we've got a floral piece there, then you've got eau de toilette, and we've got all the different wording around there as well. So it's basically Rose de Provence. I'm not even sure what that means, but it's French. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? And the scroll work around the outside. And then of course you've got all of the handwritten script and the print that you'd see on an old vintage postcard. These make absolutely fantastic backgrounds. You can see a little bit in the background here, and you'll see them through the rest of the projects as well. In fact, I've got one here which I didn't bring over. You can see just that hint of it, the label in the background. Lovely. I love that vintage look. Oh, and there's those flowers with book print as well. You don't have to go with solid colours with them. Now, another stamp set, and this, I absolutely love this, and it's something I'm trying to do with every textures collection as well, is layering stamps, because for me, sitting down with my alcohol pens and colouring in a stamped image just takes so long. Now, some people love that. And do you know what? If I've got the time and I feel like it, I do love the therapeutic way of sitting and colouring, but sometimes I just don't have the time. So this is speeding up your coloured stamping for you. And this is what we were seeing with these. So Lou Withers, thank you, Lou. I don't know if you're watching, but thank you for the amazing cards that you've created with my collection. She's actually hand coloured this in, which is a look that you can absolutely go for, because you can use this stamp set completely on its own. Or you can do, that's it on its own, as you can see, without the filling in. And I've just used different colours underneath for the florals. But when you do fill in the colours, using these solid pieces, and I will demonstrate this to show how it works, you can see you've got everything coloured for you with just your stamping platform, for example, very, very quickly. You don't have to use a stamping platform, but I'd absolutely recommend it. Do you know what? There's that label in the background again. You can see you can add the different colour flowers. So another one piece for you here, just to show you, you can use the perfume bottle and the florals on their own, a sketch design. Looks like it's just been hand drawn, really pretty just on its own. But then when you add in the colours behind, that's what you get. You actually have the colours to add behind, the lid, the perfume in the bottle, the florals, and then all the leaves as well. Now these are made to look like a loose watercolour image. So they don't match up perfectly with the lines, which is exactly how I designed them on purpose. I wanted something so if you're stamping, you haven't got to worry about it matching up perfectly. I want you to just enjoy adding your colours and playing with your different mediums, so you get that loose painted look. So that's the second stamp set there. Now, lastly, we've got the ephemera. Now, I was talking to you about this earlier, and I was saying this is your free gift if you're spending over £20. When you get to checkout, you're going to get a little pop-up that says, would you like to add this to your basket for free? So go to checkout to get that. Don't be adding it to your basket before you go to checkout. It will automatically come up. We've got a mix of large postcards here. Now, this is my working packet, so you can see I've already used some of the postcards. I think you get 4 different postcards in here. Let me see. So you can see the other half of this one I've used on this card here. Then this is where I've used some of the ephemera, for example. Really beautiful, because with the ephemera we have got so much. Let me spread all this out. We're looking at both cardstock, printed cardstock, and vellum pieces as well. Look, there's a little tiny version of that perfume bottle with the coloured in flowers there to match the stamp. You've got all sorts. Look at that floral. I'm putting my hand. You actually don't need my hand underneath it. You see it better without, don't you? Isn't that so, so pretty? You've got postmarks there. You've got bows. You've got a little postcard on vellum. How cute are they? So, I mean, look at this. I haven't even counted how many pieces I've got here. And there's a chocolat vellum there. Look at that. These are brilliant for adding into all the tiny little pieces. You can add them as labels on your perfume bottles. They can just be in the background, whatever it may be. This pack, which I think you need to see it live because there's so much in there and you just kind of lose how much you've got otherwise. This is your free gift. It's only £5.99 anyway, but when you're spending over £20 on any of this new collection, this is what you're going to be getting for free. Now, I've got a few other things to tell you about before we get on to demonstration. So I'd just like to tell you about this. Now, we always have on CraftStash, we always have a bargain of the week now, and it's really exciting because the bargain of the week it's something that's usually reasonably low stocks of. And when it's, as it says, when it's gone, it really is gone. You know, that's it. But we want to give you the chance to grab it while you still can. So for the moment, we have got here the All and Create stencil. This is an A4 stencil. It's going to be absolutely perfect for your journaling, your mini albums, your larger home decor pieces. You can get that with the Crackling Campfire Distress ink and save yourself £8. Now, like I say, when it's gone, it's gone. Usually these offers, we try to make sure there's enough stock so that we can last for the week. But very often over the weekend it sells out. So if you're interested in that, grab yours into your basket as soon as possible for you. I've also got something else really exciting to tell you about actually. I'm going to talk to you now for a moment now, because down here you can see I've got an extra offer for you. You may have noticed that, the eagle-eyed amongst you. brand new media stamping plate. This is from the brand of Creative Craft products. Now, you've seen Creative Craft products many times from me before because I absolutely love them. That's things like your trimmer. You remember the trimmer we bought you recently, the scoreboard with the envelope folding on the back, and most importantly, the stamping platform. So this offer here, $28.99 at the moment for your stamping platform. Now mine looks a little bit dirty, and it's not dirty. I've got my media plate inside, my stamping plate inside. This is a rubber plate that's made to fit inside your stamping platforms. It's the same depth as a rubber stamp, so it is going to fit inside any stamp platform that has at least it's got an A5 base or larger, and with this you can do so much. So it's for things like your ink smooching techniques, for your kiss technique as well. I'm actually going to show you. So imagine it's a little bit like an introduction to almost like gel plate printing, but much easier because you're using it with the stamp platform, much less messy, and rather than using your paint, you're actually using your inks instead. So your distress inks, you just distress oxides and things like that. I'm going to demonstrate that in a little while with some of these products, so look or stay around for that, not look out for that, hang around for that. But before we get on to that, let's do this layering stamp. So come on back down, let's bring you back down to my desk here. So the stamp platform itself is so popular. It's absolutely brilliant. Magnetic base here with the magnets included. It's only got one of the, I want to call them the buffers. Isn't that what they call them when you go bowling and they put the barriers up? But it's only got one guide there for you to press against. That means the rest of this area is free for you to overlap your paper. So if you're working on a larger sheet, say you're working on a 12 by 12 scrapbooking sheet of paper and you want to stamp along the edges, you can do that by overhanging the edges. So it's just an extra bonus for you. We have the clear Perspex lid here with the guidelines on. When you fold this over to do your stamping, so usually with a folding stamping platform, you fold it over and straight away your ink has touched your paper on your stamp, hasn't it? But not with this. There's a gap underneath. We've got springy pieces. I don't know the technical term, but springy pieces on the corners and on these corners as well. So when you put that over, you can make sure your stamp is in the right place, and then you press down to make the impression. It's really good. It just means that you've got that extra little bit of confidence when you're stamping to make sure you're in the right place, particularly if you're doing something like this and you want to ensure that your paper's not moved or anything like that. So let's show you first of all this floral stamp. I will try and look at the comments as I'm going. Thank you, Karen. So Karen Beaumont on Facebook says this has to be one of your prettiest, Lou. Thank you so much. I assume you're talking about the products, not myself. I'm not feeling very pretty today. It's been a long week. But yeah, thank you. I really do love this collection. I love the florals and everything else. I just love it all. But then again, you should see the next collection. I'm starting to work with that, and the one after that as well. Wow. And to be honest, as long as you're on my socials and CraftStash socials, you will actually be able to see those teaser photos coming up on those. So just inking this with my VersaFine so you can see the amount of detail. This is a beautiful stamp on its own. It is a hand-drawn image. You've got the florals in there and the bottle. It's a nice simple image. If you do decide that you want to stamp this and just colour it in with your pens or your pencils, if that's what you like to do. The beauty of the stamp platform, as you just saw me demonstrate completely by accident there without realising, is if you've missed a spot, you can simply go back over, press down again, and you know you'll be in exactly the right place. Let me lift that up for you so you can see that image. Isn't that beautiful? Just that on its own is stunning. Now, one of the cards, I'm trying to see where I've put all my cards. One of the cards I actually showed you was, oh, here it is. There we go. Is really just this image, but what I did first is I went in with distress ink on the flowers, okay, and the leaves, did it all together, spritzed a little bit of water actually on the watercolour paper, turned it over, allowed that colour to just seep into the paper, and then dried this off, did my VersaFine black over the top, put in all the detail, and that's what's given me this loose, very pastel watercolour effect underneath. So I'm not actually painting in the flowers or the perfume there, but that's another effect you can get with this very, very quick card. If you do need quick cards, if you're batch making, obviously there's an angel policy with this. It's off the top of my head, I believe it's 200 cards of any one design every year that you can create and sell with these, whether it's for profit or for charity. So let's now do the layering part and put these in. This looks, sorry, Lynn Bell, this looks better than a well-known one you have. Loving the magnets, yeah, it is brilliant having this. Stamping platform is just perfect. If you haven't already looked at it, go on to CraftStash and have a look. It's under the Creative Craft Products brand. But in fact, if you go and take a look at the front screen, the home screen on CraftStash, you're going to see the offer with this alongside the media plate, which I'll show you a little bit later. So just placing here, I've got, these are kind of like blobs. Maybe I should have named them on the packaging. They're kind of blobs, but they're fairly easy to work out, a bit like a jigsaw where they go. So we've got the blob that's the perfume in the bottle, and we've got one that's for the lid. Now, like I said to you earlier, these are not supposed to be an absolutely perfect position for the outlines. These are supposed to be loose colour, kind of around where you'd like them. I'm using a nice pale colour for the perfume in the bottle because I don't want that to be a heavy colour. So I'm using actually Tattered Rose, which is the perfect name. I'm also then going to just take a look because somewhere here, maybe I should have got my colours out ready. There it is. I've got the pumice stone, which is a grey, a light grey, and I'm going to use that for the lid. Now, you can simply stamp these as they are. Just stamp those. I like with the stamping platform to go up and down because I'm using a water-based ink. You sometimes get that little bit of pooling on your stamp surface. That happens with absolutely any stamp. So I like to press up and down, and that just disperses the ink and gives it another go and makes sure that you've got it nice and easily spread. So hopefully you can see we're starting to add some subtle colour into that image. Now, if I take these off, what I've also got is the florals as well. So I can do both of these florals at the same time. So there's the large one, and like I say, don't try to line them up properly because it won't happen. You just need to put them on roughly where they need to be, and this just makes it even quicker for you. It gives you the almost permission to go nice and light with them. Let's do these in some nice blues. Now, this actually I like with the flowers because of the detail in them. I like to spritz these with a little bit of water before I stamp these two. I don't know why, I just think the end result looks better. So just using a spritz bottle, you can get these at CraftStash. We have them under the CraftStash brands. And then as I fold this over, just allow that to soak into the cardstock. There we go. And we've got a little bit more of a watercolour effect. You don't have to go for the watercolour. You can do absolutely perfect clean stamping if you want to, but I really like that effect. And then lastly, I'm just going to go in with the leaves. Now the leaves are spaced around. So again, a bit like a jigsaw, a nice easy jigsaw actually. You can just place the greenery around where the leaves are. And they're pretty easy to work out. I think that one's, oh no, I've done that wrong. That one goes there, I think. Oh, that one's there, look. There we go. That one's there. Doesn't matter if you get these wrong either because it's just adding a hint of green. There we go, that one there. And then we've got, this one goes here. Is that all of them? No, I'm missing one. Look, there we go. And there's another. So just adding a splash of green where the leaves need to be. Pop that there. Lift all of those up at the same time. Let's take, should we go for a nice bright green this time? I've been using the dark green quite a lot with these, but I'm going to use a nice bright green for these. Doesn't matter if I'm stamping onto the base of my platform here because it's not going to touch my paper. Like the flowers, I'm just going to give them a spritz, and then this is going to help that green just kind of bleed into the flowers a little bit as well for that looser look. There we go, absolutely perfect. Now I'm going to take the blue that I used, the salvage patina that I used for this flower. I'm going to just spritz some water on it. So now I'm using my stamping platform as kind of like a palette really, and I just need to find myself, if I can find it, that will do, a paintbrush of some description, and I'm just going to flick around here just to finish off that look as well. Now going to the next product, so you can see that's your layered stamped perfume bottle. If I just put all these stamps aside, because I'll just give them a quick wipe and I'll put them away properly in a little while. Let's put that there. So you can see you've got your layered and coloured stamped image, but we can also add to this, so we can put into the label as well. As you see, I've got my 5 there, and I just used all of these stamps here to build up your label however you want to. Or you can do yourself a label from here, you can cut that out and you can place it over the top. It's entirely up to you. And then these also work with those dies as well. And Sue, such a good idea. Thank you. I'm not sure what. Lou, what colour is that darker blue Distress Oxide? That would have been Chipped Sapphire. It's an old colour, but it's a good one. It's really pretty. Thank you, Roseanne. Incredible depth with the different inks. Anita Snell. Clever, Lou. I'm not great at colouring, so this is perfect. Yeah, it really is. If you're not into your colouring for whatever reason. Now, you can also go back over that if you want to. If you want to take your the main image, lay it down, go back over it, you can with the darker black to fill back into the colours of the flowers or the detail of the flowers. You can do that. Or the original image that you stamp first, before you do your colouring, can be a pale grey or something like that. So when you re-stamp your black over the top of everything afterwards, you don't really see the guidelines underneath. Okay, so let's move on, because I think we need to see that media plate in action. Shall we do that? It's where it starts to get a little bit messy, and I have to admit I've probably washed my hands 10 times today already, but this is where it's going to get fun. So the media plate, let's play with these stamps. So they're going to be the labels there, the Carte Postal and the vintage label. We'll play with those first of all. So the media plate comes like this. So it's from a very similar material to your clear stamps. So it's the same thickness as well. That means that you know for all your stamping platforms are going to fit it. And it just sticks beautifully to your stamping platform lid, the same way as your stamps do. With this, the more you use it, the better it becomes, the better all of the transfers come. Okay, now there's multiple different ways you can use this. I'm going to start probably with the cleanest and work down to the messiest, just so that you can see those in the right way. But just take a look at some of these that you can be doing with your media plate. Okay, cool backgrounds like that, where it's actually restricted into the area of the plate and not squelching everywhere, as you find when you try to do the smooching technique. Really nice layered background as well that you can do, and then use whatever excess is left on your plate. You can spritz it with water, repress it onto your paper, a clean piece of paper, and just use that excess to get a really nice, that's like a cloud-like background, isn't it? Really cool. So let's start with, where should we go first of all? Shall we do the smooching first, I think? Oh no, I did say that I'd stay clean and do the kiss technique first. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to actually remove my plate for a moment. I'm going to stamp this image. Okay, so this is a little dog, and what I'd really like is to have the little dog facing one way and then another impression with it facing, so they're touching noses, like for Valentine's, for example. So I'm going to just place my dog on one side, as I normally would, use the platform to pick it up. Okay, and see I've already been using this with black ink, so I'm going to stamp him properly, like so. There we go. So now, first of all, as you just saw with the perfume bottle, a perfect impression, really beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stamp, I'm going to lay it on my paper the way round that I'd like it. So I'd like it like this, and I think I'd like them almost touching noses, because you could put sort of little red hearts coming up, couldn't you, as if they were kissing. They look really super cute. But how else would you do this? This is called the kiss technique. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place my media plate over on the other side. I'm just going to make sure that my media plate, the area that that's in, will pick up that stamp. And I'm now going to go in. Now this time I'm going to go in with a water-based ink that touches the media plate. Okay, if I was to use this, this or your mementos, for example, as you know from using them on other materials, it can stain this, but also the transfer isn't as good. So you want a good water-based ink that doesn't dry very quickly at all to be the thing that's in contact with the media plate. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ink up. Here you go, just carefully. And if you want to, you can place a piece of acetate underneath the stamp to make sure that while you're inking, you're not going to touch the paper underneath. But I'm really well going to ink that up. I'm also then going to go over the top with my VersaFine. This is just my preference to get a really deep, dark image, and then sandwich that with some more water-based black ink. Okay. I'm going to fold over with my media plate stuck there. I'm going to fold over and I'm going to impress that ink into my media plate. Okay, there's room with this stamp platform. I don't know with other stamp platforms if you've had the space to do this with the media plate. I'm then going to remove my stamp, fold this over, press down and transfer that ink absolutely perfectly. There we go. So press that nice and hard, make sure you get a good image. Now, the beauty of this platform is if it's not exactly where you want it, if you've not applied enough ink, you can place this back on. You can ink it again, which I'm going to do. More ink. Now I'm putting fingerprints on. This is where you want to put your acetate on. I'm going to fold it back over. Retransfer that ink. And you can do this a few times if you want to. Just keep restamping because your paper's going to hold the back of that stamp in place quite well. Make sure there's lots of paper there, lots of ink on there. And then go back over the top. Again, you can see where you're stamping. Now, if you're planning on colouring these dogs in, you've now got, oh, Mr. Arm, let's transfer you, and the nose. You've now got the ink transfer, the outline, so that you can do both of them at the same time. You see that? Isn't that cool? So cool. So just keep doing that. That's your kiss technique. Now the next one I'm going to do, oh, excuse the squeaks, but you can just wipe that clean. This washes clean really well. I tend to not like to wash it too well. I tend to just wipe, give it a quick wipe. And to be honest, I prefer to use wet wipes or wet tissue than wet wipes, because wet wipes have like a drying agent in them to dry quickly, and you can dry out your media plate. So just use wet tissue if you can. Now, ink smooching, something we love. I'm just going to bring in a piece of paper just because it's nice and convenient to use. Just copy paper to show you the next technique. Now, many of you I know have done or seen the ink smooching technique before and like it, but actually it's probably a little bit scary, isn't it? Because you're getting really messy with it. You really are. So I'm just going to put a little bit of ink down there, just with my Distress Oxides, and a little bit here. Now imagine you want this lovely watercolour patch background just on your card. So all we're going to do is put it onto the media plate, give that a spritz of water, turn that over and press down. See that? Can you see that straight away? Oh, squelch, it's lovely, isn't it? Now I'm going into copy paper, so obviously you don't get the same effect as you would on watercolour paper. But look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? And then that's good to go. Now we've still got some ink on here, so make sure, because you've still got some ink on your media plate that's not going anywhere. Let's just take another piece of paper, just repeat that, just to make sure we use up every last bit of ink. So pop that on. Light spritz. There's not much on there, but you never know what you might get. It's always worth re-stamping that excess on to a little bit of paper just to make sure, because you never know, you might get a pattern that you want to use. Okay, so how cool is that? That one, and then there's this one. They're the sort of watercolour images you'd buy the pattern papers for. But you can use your stamp press, your stamp platform and your media plate, your stamping plate to do that for. Now, what about full backgrounds? So you can absolutely do them. Let's just make sure this is nice and dry now. It's not too far off. Just dry around the edge, make sure there's no water on there. I'm going to remove my magnets for now. And we're going to do, let's go with a, I'd like a pink, a nice bright pink. I'm wondering if I can find my bright pink, because it should be here somewhere. There it is. So Kitsch Flamingo and Salvaged Patina. So I'm going to place my inks on here. Now, if you're doing inky backgrounds, very often the ink is quite heavy, isn't it, when you're putting it directly onto your paper, and once it's on, it's very hard to then blend it all together. This is going to give you beautiful background straight away. So I'm just going to brayer that ink across the plate there like so. Now, because I've got some ink on here, I'm just going to use a scrap piece of paper, wipe that off, and then I'm going to do the same with the pink, just to blend that in a little bit. There we go, and again, clean off my brayer. Now, there's a couple of different effects you can get with this as well. Bear with me. Just get my copy paper there. The dog's the cutest. Just catching up with the comments. Can you buy the media plates separately? I believe you can, yes. I believe you can buy the media plates separately. It will go in other stamp platforms. We just obviously recommend this stamp platform because we love it. Just being careful because I've got my magnets in the way there, just holding my paper. Now press that down. Now this gives you a kind of, now I don't know if you'll know what I mean when I say a concrete texture, okay? It gives you like a dry brushed texture. All right, so let's peel this off. Look at that. I love, love, love this. How beautiful is that as a background? Right, I'm just going to put that to the side because, again, I've got ink on my plate that I don't want to lose. So let's just spritz that. I'm using water reactive inks, so spritz that and make sure you use every last bit of the colour if you can. Just peel it off again, and there's a lighter version. So again, 2 for the price of 1, nice and neat. None of that smooching and getting ink squelching out everywhere. Absolutely beautiful. Now let's take this and let's add some texture to it. So let's say, what should we do? I'm going to go with a brown, I think, and I'm going to use one of my labels. So let's use Carte Postale. So this is the postcard stamp. What I'm going to do, in fact, I'm going to keep it on my backing paper because, or backing acetate, because it's actually easier to use while it's on there. There's nothing wrong with you doing this either. I'm just going to snip between the 2 stamps and separate them so I can use them separately. So popping this back onto the packaging, I'm going to add some distress ink here. This is a brown. Don't worry about any moisture that you've got on your plate, any excess ink that you've got on your plate. The more, the merrier, honestly. So let's start stamping. There's one. Now, obviously, anything you stamp on here will come out backwards, but that's fine. I know we're using words here, but kind of like the look anyway. Just in case I've got any excess ink, I'm just pressing into there, and then we can transfer that over. So give that a really good rub down. Let me show you this. Can you see that subtle texture in there? Isn't that absolutely beautiful? I love it. Now just one more, just to make sure that I'm not going to miss anything, because I've got a really pretty pattern in there, is I'm just going to line up my plate once more in there. I haven't looked at the time. I've just realised the time. Wow. I'm going to do a perfume bottle for you in a minute. I'm just spraying that just to loosen it up again, and I'm going to do one more impression with it. Hold that down, let the paper absorb that moisture and all that ink. Lift that off again, and look at that. 2 for the price of 1. 1 a little darker, 1 a little lighter, 1 more defined, 1 more watercolour-esque. How quick was that? So I've created my 2 backgrounds there. I also created my Where Were You? That one as well, and we did the kiss stamping that you can do if you're colouring, particularly if you're colouring in an image, because the second impression is never going to be the same exactly as the first, as in the sharpness of the image, but they are stunning. Use all your inks. You don't have to now be getting all your different paints and gessos and things to try out media paints. And this one was just where I was playing with the inks and I had excess on my plate. I've still got excess on my plate now. I can carry on, I can layer back on top of that and retransfer. Isn't that really good fun? There's so much you can do with the media plate. We're going to upload lots and lots of different ways of using it onto the website, so some videos as well. Can you hear that squeak? That's really satisfying actually. So grab that now. That bundle is $28.99. You can just see here, $28.99 for those 2 items together. An absolute bargain. Okay, now back to textures. Although we've been using those labels, those background stamps, this brayer should be online shortly. If it's not already, it will be soon. This is going to be under the brand of Textures. It's a brilliant brayer, absolutely wonderful, but I will tell you more about that very, very soon in the future. I think the next thing we need to do is a perfume bottle or some flowers. Maybe I should let you choose. Would you like to see florals or perfume bottle? First comment that I see will be the one I do, because I've only got one or time to do one demonstration. Thank you, Val. She says, love all the deals. Yeah, they're brilliant, aren't they? Joe Paul, do you just clean with water? Absolutely, just water is absolutely fine. As long as you've only used water-based inks on the media plate, that's not a problem. Water should get everything off, no worries. Let's see, bottle, perfume, yeah. Oh, hang on a minute, I've got to go right back to the first one who commented. A lot of you are saying perfume bottle, so I'll go with that. I've got everything ready for everything. I'm prepared. Don't forget today, the ephemera, the beautiful ephemera. I did get it all out earlier. That is only $5.99, but it's also your freebie if you're spending over £20. There you go. Just put that on the screen for you there. Over £20 on any of the Paris Romance products, you're going to get the ephemera for free. I am going to just pop over to YouTube as well and see all the lovely folks around there. We're sorry, we've got lots of perfume flowers. It looks like it's about 50-50, but the first comment I saw was for the perfume. So in fact, I don't know if this is going to upset you all, but I was actually going to do not a perfume bottle. I thought I would actually do the aftershave bottle. Is that okay, everyone? Sorry if that's not what you were expecting. I just need to find my dies. I actually need to find my dies for the perfume bottle, because I've put things everywhere and I don't know where most of them are now. Are they under here? Oh yes, they are. Here we go. Okay, look at this. Look at the size of these dies. So that's not the one. And as I was telling you before as well, we have the outline dies for everything. So you've got the outline too. This one, obviously, I mean, it's not going to skip attention. It does look a little bit like a grenade. If you're into that for your cards, you can do it that way. You know, some gents might love that, so it's entirely up to you. We have the outline die for that, and then we have all the additional pieces that come in. I've also found my floral die that I was looking for earlier. So let's see. I have cut already the outline for one of these perfume bottles, and I'm going to do this with acetate, only the acetate has disappeared. There it is, it's on the floor. It's the hardest item to see, isn't it? Now, with these sets, what we also have in here is the perfume or the aftershave to go into the bottle. And of course, you can then do this with like a glitter card or a mirror card or something like that to give it a little bit of sheen as well. Hot air balloon upside down. Let's have a look. Yes, it does. It really does. You just take the tabs off. Now the tabs are there for a reason, so you can bend the item round. But of course, don't forget, you can snip the tabs off, no issues at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut my perfume, my liquid, or my aftershave that's going to go in my bottle. I'm going to cut as well the lid. Let's cut that from black, I think. So we'll cut a black lid. So I only need to cut this top area of my die, and then I'm going to cut the actual die from acetate. So when I'm cutting from acetate, I always use a metal shim, which many die cutting machines will actually come with in the box. A lot of us kind of think, oh, okay, it's a metal shim, we put it to the side and very rarely actually ever come back to it. But it's a really handy tool. I love mine. I've got multiple ones of them, thicker and thinner ones, depending on what dyes I'm using and what materials I'm going through. So what we have here, lost my bin, so it's just gone on the floor. We first of all have the lid. I'm just going to cut around the base of the lid there. So I'll be able to lay that up on top. We've got our liquid, our aftershave. Let's cut the actual bottle. So that's this bottle from here, like this. So acetate here. I actually prefer to buy printable acetate. The reason being is because on one side you've got kind of a matte finish. It's still shiny, as you can see, but if you ever want to stamp or glue, that is a much easier surface to stamp and glue on than the shiny surface on the other side. But obviously normal acetate, everyday acetate, will be shiny, glossy on both sides. Now I'm going to bring in my die cutting plates just to be able to show you the plate combination that I use when I'm using a metal shim to cut acetate. So I put my die down. I always put it diagonally if I can. My acetate goes on top. In fact, just because this is a small piece of acetate, I am going to use a little bit of tape. Now, I haven't mentioned too many times actually, we've got other special offers on at the moment. Brand new today, more products from Jamie Rogers. Go and check those out on CraftStash. We've got the tea bag folding that he's bought, absolutely wonderful. This is an older technique that's coming back into fashion. Go and see those on CraftStash. I'll shout out some more offers in a moment for you. But I've got my die with the blades facing upwards, then the acetate on top. And then I've got, doesn't matter what brand it is, a metal shim. I'm mixing and matching all my plates today. A metal shim in between. Now, you'll get some cracking usually with this. Let's hear that metal. Can you hear that? Hear that metal cutting against the die? That means it's gone through the acetate. So I'm just going to lean over and take this out. And you should have, hopefully, let's remove the tape. So there's my gap, put my tape back, and there's my acetate bottle. Now this has got score lines in it so that you can bend it round. It's also got the tabs on the outside so you can bend this round. So what I now need to do is build up my aftershave bottle. One more thing before I build this up actually is to create that aftershave label. Now this, as well as, if I find it in here, this, whoops, that's the big one. There we go. These are embossing dies. Hopefully you can see that we've actually got aftershave, it's backwards because it's good for embossing, and eau de toilette. So they will emboss either, you can emboss them directly into your perfume bottle as I did with that aftershave earlier, or you can emboss them into something like this. It's a little frame that I've already cut out that is the same shape as the die. In fact, I used the die as a guide. So I'm just going to tape that onto my mirror card, run this through. It's the same as a cutting die. I don't need my metal shim for this. Exactly the same as a cutting die. Run that through and that will emboss or cut into the cardstock the aftershave logo for you. Really cool and really actually expensive looking. Anyone who's commenting is going to be in with a chance of winning one of the bundles of the brand new collection. There we go, look at that. Isn't that so cool? In fact, I can tell you if you're winning, you're going to get the floral die set, you're going to get the perfume bottle die set, you're going to get the embossing folder, and you're also going to get the label stamps, so the ones for building your own labels. How cool does that aftershave look? It's very cool. Okay, so let's start building these up. I need some glue. Now I've got a feeling my liquid glue was drying up yesterday, so I'm going to use this glue for now. There we go. I'm going to put my aftershave label on in a moment, so let's put on, it's always best to use, I think, a dry glue on acetate. So can anyone see where that black lid, oh, do you think it went on the floor? It probably did, didn't it? I cut out the black lid. I know I did. Or did I throw away the wrong part of it? Because I've got this bit here. If anyone can look around my craft room and tell me where that lid just went, that would be wonderful. But I'm also wearing black trousers. I'm sitting on a black chair, so it could be anywhere. So maybe we'll need to cut another one of those in a moment. Check it's not under here anywhere. Okay, so I've now got a sticky lid waiting for the black part that I cut, that I can't find. So instead we'll build the bottle up. So I'm going to use hot glue because it's definitely going to be quicker for me to demonstrate, but you can use any glue you prefer. let's just put a tiny bit of hot glue just under one of the tabs. Lay the perfume bottle over the top of the outline that I've cut out. Now, hot glue with acetate is ideal because it just dries so quickly. And then work round one tab at a time, and you'll get that little bit of dimension. I don't know how well you can see that actually, but little bit of dimension from the acetate. It gives it the glossy bottle look that you want when you've got an aftershave bottle. See how quickly the hot glue just grips. Now I'm doing this on the reverse because then I can stick this whole panel onto a card without worrying about seeing any of the glue pieces. So hopefully you can see there, if I pop my finger in there, we've got a gap between the two layers and we've got that shaping there. So you've got your really cool bottle. That really is bugging me where that lid, the lid that I cut, where that has gone. It'll be somewhere, it will appear, so I'll probably have to post a photo of that later on, but never mind. Check the comments in case any of you can see it. Yeah, little gremlin Kathleen has taken my lid. I know. It's not on, is it? It's not on. Kate Baker, she missed a section due to visitors. Oh, those visitors. Never mind, you can watch back both on Facebook and on YouTube, so don't worry about that. Lots of demonstration, but as long as you get the product in your basket, check it out, and then come back and look for the inspiration afterwards. Look at that aftershave label. How cool does that look? Pop that lid on there. Could we just use a piece of ephemera for the lid instead? Because I want to show you, this is your free item today. When you're spending £20, you get this whole pack of ephemera for free. And this isn't everything, because I've used, as you can see, I've used a lot of the postcards. I've used a lot of the ephemera as well. Let's see if there's something here that would be suitable for a lid. Oh, that looks cool, doesn't it? We've got so much. When you see it in the packet, I don't think you can appreciate how much you've actually got going on in here. Isn't there a lot? You've got little perfume bottles, you've got little postcards, you've got post stamps as well. Post stamps, they're all post stamps, aren't they? Got lots and lots going on. I'm trying to think, what can I use as a nice lid? Let's just pop anything else under there. Let's just pop this on. This can be our lid for our aftershave bottle. But you can see you've got the shape there. That's just one of them. Let's bring in a couple of examples. Just trying to reach over and grab them. Here you go. This is one of my favourites with silver glitter paper, and you've got that eau de toilette just embossed into the front with a mirror card lid. The bow is included in the set as well. That's in there. Teamed with one of those florals. There's so much that you can be doing with this. Now, do we think that I should have, hopefully, a comment? Oh, hey, we've got a winner. Hillary has been watching and she has chosen a winner for us. So let me bring you back to me. Sorry about that. So we have got two winners. Now, both of you are going to win your share of the brand new collection, products from that. There's a bundle for each of you. As I said, you're going to be getting the perfume dies, you're going to be getting the flower dies, the embossing folder, that quintessential quilting embossing folder, and also the stamps to create your own labels. So this is going to, on YouTube, Janine Lucas, congratulations to you. And on Facebook, we've got Anne Suter. Well done to you too. To both of you, if you just send us an email to the CraftStash customer service email, that's at craftstash.co.uk. Just send us your name, your postal address, and let them know what you've won, because they won't know who you are. And then they will forward that to me and I'll be able to send out your prize for you. I like to tell you the prizes just so you can carry on and buy the rest of the collection, so you know what you'll be missing. And then there's another chance to win, everybody. You can go on over to craftstash.co.uk/inspiration. That is our blog. Now, you should check back there every day anyway for new updates on things that are happening. But on a Friday, we have our blog post that allows you to enter to win. There's going to be a slightly larger bundle over there that you can potentially win next Friday. So that's open to absolutely everybody. You can enter up until lunchtime on Friday. So you've got a whole week to do that. But I'd say do it straight away so you don't forget, particularly if you're not one of today's winners already. But Thank you all so much for watching. I'm just going to recap those offers again. So we have got all of the Paris Romance collection is now in stock, all brand new, going from $5.99. That's for the Ephemera, the $5.99. The embossing folder is $7.99. The stamp sets are $8.99. If you're buying any of the bundles that I showed you earlier, they are all going from $24.99. But you can make the biggest saving by buying the entire collection. You'll find that online. Don't forget as well, where have I put it? Well, I'll show you the samples anyway, because I've made a right mess in here today. The items that I used to create these amazing backgrounds, okay, that's the new Creative Craft Products media stamping plate, along with the stamping platform as well. So many techniques that you can be doing with that. Check that out, that's only $28.99 for both parts today. You can buy either on individually on their own as well, but definitely the value is when you put them both together. Next week, I've got another exciting live. We have got a craft along with the wonderfully talented Christina Griffiths on Wednesday. She's got her Papercraft Society craft along. So if you didn't get hold of that box, go over to papercraftsociety.co.uk and check that out, because it's a wonderful box, about £60 worth of product, jam-packed filled, and you can subscribe to those boxes monthly as well. We love them, but we do craft alongs with them every month too, to show you what else you can be doing with them, as well as what's in the project booklet. Again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for the launch. I hope you love this collection as much as I do. All the pretty bits and the French bits and the romantic bits, but also things for the gentlemen, for the kids and such as well. Now, I hope you all have a lovely crafty weekend. There's lots coming up on CraftStash over the weekend as well. Don't forget to keep an eye on the emails if you get them. If you don't, why not? Go and sign up for them. But also come back and check every day on the homepage. You'll have all of the offers scrolling there, or you can go to the offers page and check those out there. Okay, have a lovely weekend, everybody. I will see you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.